Could I start by asking you your name and what you do, please?
I'm Carrington MacDuffie. I'm a singer-songwriter, a pop singer-songwriter out of the USA.
How are you today, Carrington? Are you well?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well. It's a bit of a murky day here, but it's summer in Scotland. It's exactly what you get.
That's right. Aren't you just outside of Glasgow? I think you're
I
south of.
am just outside of Glasgow, about 20, 30 miles outside of Glasgow. So whenever Glasgow pops up on the map, that's pretty much what the weather is here.
Yeah, right. And I do track that, because I have a band in Glasgow, and so I keep track of what's going
Hey,
on in the weather there.
wow, I didn't know you had a band here. There's so much I don't know about you.
I don't know a thing about you either. Let's get
Let,
cracking.
let's learn. Let's discover together. Whereabouts in the world are you at the moment? You said you were in the US, and by the way, this will be airing on the 4th of July. Full admission, we're recording on the 2nd, but this will be airing on the 4th of
Oh,
July. So happy Independence Day to you.
thank you. Autonomy is one of my very, very highest values. You have no idea how high a value that is. Yes, indeed. I'm in Austin, Texas today.
Oh, I've got some friends down in. Do I have a friend in Texas? Yeah, it's Jeff. I can't remember. I've got a friend called Jeff, and he lives somewhere Texas adjacent. So there's that.
Okay. I'll look out for Jeff.
Please do. I understand that Texas is small enough you can just walk past and yell, "Hey, Jeff!" and he'll pop his head out.
That's right. Exactly. Hey, Jeff, where are you?
Get out here, Jeff.
Get out here.
So let's. I know this is probably a very long tale, but I want to hear every word of it. How long have you been in music for? What is your musical origin story?
Well, I always tell people that I think that we're in music before anything else because even when we're born, as we're learning to speak, we don't speak words for a long time, right? We make sounds and we test our voices and we pitch our voices. And so I think we're singing before we're talking. I certainly feel that I was. I started writing songs when I was 13, about 13, when my mom bought a grand piano that no one was playing. And I thought, well, this looks like it would be a good thing to learn how to play. So I just kind of taught myself to write little songs on there. I'd been singing in choruses and playing instruments through my childhood, but that was when I started writing actually songs of my own that, I made up little things when I was a kid, really little kid, but through my teen years, I wrote a lot of songs. And when I was about 19 or 20, I discovered I really needed to be in music professionally. And so I finished my university career with an English degree, but I went, I started playing in bands and having my own band as soon as I could. After that, I moved out to the West Coast. I lived in LA for a while where I lived on Venice Beach and I was showcasing in Los Angeles. I had a number of different bands, including a 6-piece band that had a painter. One of the band members was a painter, and he would paint canvas behind the band, and he would paint my body. And the brand new video that's dropping today, Under the Sky, which is on the new record, has some of the footage from those shows. I lived in Seattle for a while, where I co-owned a project studio, and I was doing a lot of experimental soundscapes, which I've created videos for that are on my YouTube channel. And I got into a voiceover career at that point. And then I moved here to Austin because I really wanted to meet some of the Texas musicians that were just so relaxed and so great. And I didn't know anything about country music. And the best way to learn was to come here. And so I've been based out of here for a while. I record in Nashville a lot. I have a band there. I just came back from upstate New York where I was recording with some guys there. So I'm kind of all over the place. And
Sounds
that's
like yeah. So I was going to say, it sounds like you have a place everywhere.
well, if I
What
don't
is
have
your home?
at least there's a place in my heart
Yeah.
everywhere, you know?
I must ask because I love country music. I grew up on country music. I've always said if I didn't do this kind of show, I'd love to do a country music show. What's
Oh.
it like standing in Nashville, where that sprung from, where it's created from?
Well, as soon as you get into the airport, there are guitars. There's this one, first time I came to Nashville, this is the first thing I noticed. There's a display in the airport of, I think they're Fender guitars. I can't actually remember now, that are turning. It's like 3 or 4 guitars that are turning in this display. And there are rocking chairs you can sit at by the baggage claim. So that's what struck me at first about Nashville, is that you are now in Tennessee. where they have rocking chairs at baggage claim. So, you know, there's a lot to like about Tennessee. And Nashville itself, you know, I mean, of course, there's a lot of tourism there. There's a lot you can see. And I've had business meetings there, and then you just feel like you're in what's really going in Nashville is all that business. You know, my lawyer's there, my music attorney's there, my guy who does my independent radio promotion is there. BMI, ASCAP, all that. So, you know, you're very aware, if you're involved in the business itself, you're very aware of the business itself when you're there. But what I really tune into the most is the musicians that I work with there, who are just phenomenal. And they're all over this new record, Sweet Little Mystery. And I just love those guys to death. They're just so good. They're just so imaginative and inventive and quick, and they just interpret my... I don't know, they psychically interpret what I'm thinking. So that isn't exactly what you asked, but it's hard for me not to get off on that path about musicians, because I just have such an adoration for them. And some of the very best are there in Nashville. So that's exciting when you're there to know that.
I'm absolutely fascinated by musicians. I've said it before on this show, and I'll say it again probably a billion times. I don't know how to write music. I wish I did. I don't know how to write it. I kind of sort of know how to play it a little bit. Like if you put me in front of a piano, I can knock out Heart and Soul or something like that.
Oh, you probably, yeah.
But I'm just fascinated by people who can make music, because it's such an art to me that I don't know how it happens. So how does it happen for you? What's your songwriting process like?
Well, first of all, I'd say that is a sweet little mystery, because that's part of what this record is about, is the mystery of how does that happen? And I'm not sure that I have a good answer for you, because I don't really try to write music. I receive it. So I just act as a channel. I learned that. I didn't always know that. I knew that when I was a young teen. And then when I decided I had to take it seriously, then that really messed up my writing a lot. And then I had to learn to stop taking it so seriously and just get in a really receptive mode, which is a very feminine kind of a mode to be in, right?
Yeah.
And be a channel for it and listen for it. So I don't try to write it if it's not there. But if an idea comes to me, see, I don't really have an answer for you. I just know, because it just comes. And so all what I do is I just really pay attention. And I don't, one of the keys to writing music, I think, is to not judge what you're hearing and to not judge what you're playing. Because as soon as you start judging whether it's good or bad, you've gotten in the way of the channel, you've blocked the channel, and it's not going to communicate to you because then you're not in a receptive mode. And it's not that there may not be judgments to be made and discernment to be made, but that's not the time to do it. The time to do it is after the ideas have flowed to you and you've at least laid them down, or at least this is my process. I can't speak for other people. And then you can decide, okay, I need to craft this better. This needs to be a little different here or there or whatever, you know. But the generative process itself remains a mystery. I do not know. It just comes. I don't know.
That's so fascinating.
Isn't it?
I really wonder where it comes from.
I don't know. That's why I wrote this whole record about it. I mean, this is mostly about romance, this record. It uses romance as a metaphor. Let me put it that way. It's not exactly about romance. It's inspired by, that's a very sexy record. But the mystery that lies at, right? But the mystery that lies at the heart of it is the one that you are actually pointing to right now. I don't know. I can only write about it. That's all I can say.
You can just try and just put it out there and let the world take it.
Yes, express it, and hopefully it inspires a sense of wonder in other people as well, because I think that when we're living with a sense of wonder is when we are at our very best, because our mind is open and our heart is open, and then all kinds of things can come from there. That's where the magic happens.
I absolutely agree.
Right? And then you can manifest anything, and you can manifest beautiful things.
This is the voice of Carrington MacDuffie. She is here to talk to us about her single. It is called Under the Sky, which we haven't even touched on yet. We've been talking about the album and so many other things. The album is called Sweet Little Mysteries, by the way. I have listened to it in advance of this interview. Congratulations on it. It is very sexy, as you said. I don't know if that's weird to say to your face on Zoom, but it is a very sexy album. But let's talk about the single. It is called Under the Sky. Where did this particular song come from?
I was spending a lot of time in the desert when I wrote this song. That's California desert. And in the desert, you have access to the sky in a way that I don't know of any other place except if you're out on the ocean on a ship, where there are no trees, there aren't mountains around you, there's nothing blocking your view, there isn't light being reflected from a city, there's less smog in the air, and you can really see the stars, and they are powerful when you just sit and meditate on them and kind of commune with them. And then for me, it feels like they start to communicate. You start to communicate. And I found myself really, communing with nature in general, I guess. And so that feeling is all over that song. It's a very earthy, organic song, all the imagery in the lyric at least. And it's a very flowy song musically. And that's what I was feeling at that time. And I like to feel that whenever possible. So, if you can't get into that situation in your life, music can bring you a situation like that and can transport you to that place. You may not be able to get out into the middle of the ocean or out into a desert, but music can take you there, which is one of the beautiful things about it. So that song seeks to transport us there, and is also, I think I was picking up on that song presages some kind of change, right? There's a line in there.
Yeah.
Right. The wave is coming and the wind is rising is one of the things. So what is that change? Well, it's hard to say. I mean, we're certainly going through some heavy change right now. And this change is going to go on for a while. I think we're in for some intense, this next year, some more really intense change. And for the next few years, it's going to still be really rocky. And then over a period of decades, it's going to be sorting itself out. But we are living at an incredible time. This is an incredible time. And it's been a really hard time. We're going through some really insane things, like really insane. But I think it's going to get better. And I think I was picking this up in this song when I wrote it, because I wrote it before all this crazy stuff was happening. But I could feel it, something was coming. And now we're on that wave. Let's stay up on the crest of the wave, right? That's what I like to do. Stay on the crest. You don't want to go over the edge because you're going to get tumbled by the wave, right? You want to stay up on the crest. You don't want to just slip down the back of the wave. You want to stay on the crest and keep riding it, because that energy will lift you and carry you. So that energy is also in the song. I think music can do that for us. It can lift us and carry us. Just keep in that state of mind.
That's one of the things I found fascinating about the song is, and I was going to ask about it, and I'm very glad you mentioned it, is you said you wrote it before everything started happening, and it kind of feels like, how do I say this? It feels like it could be an escape. Like, a lot of people have been in their homes for a long time, and listening to the track, it feels like it could take you places. Was that always part of the idea? And then what's happened with the virus and whatnot has been a happy accident with it?
I did not know. I'm not a foreteller of the future at all. I mean, I know I just said a whole bunch of stuff about what's going to happen over the coming decade. But I do feel that, like I just feel that in my bones, When I wrote the song, I was not thinking about that at all. I was just feeling the energy of nature. And one of the things about nature is that it's always changing, right? We have the seasons, we have the weather, we have all the forces of nature. And there have been attempts on this earth to control the forces of nature. And I mean, sometimes that's done and whatever, but nature itself is not something you control. The life force itself cannot be controlled. You know, as Pete Seeger said, God bless the grass, it grows through cement. You can't stop the life force.
Yeah.
Change is going to come no matter what. And I think I was feeling that at the time that I wrote the song, but I wasn't thinking specifically about some political change or whatever. You know, I was just feeling the energies of nature moving through me and then doing my best to express that through music.
So what was the production like from when you had the idea, from when you wrote the song to it being a finished product? That's another thing I'm fascinated about music, is how it all comes together, and it's the little bits you put into it that maybe nobody will ever hear, but you know is there. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, there's a lot to that, and I don't want to take up too much time with that, but there was a demoed version of this song, and then the version that I recorded in Nashville. It came together very easily because those guys really understood it, as they always understand my music so well. And it's a very straightforward song, and in the song structure itself is in a lot of ways very, the melody anyway, is very straightforward. So we got the tracks down to it really quickly. My guitarist there has such an affinity for the kind of sound that I want and such an ability to bring it about. He has settings. He's created settings in his reverb and delay that are named Carrington that he brings up when we're recording together.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I know, he's so hot. So those sounds are present. You can't even tell it's a guitar sometimes with him. So we spent some time on that and got those basic tracks done. Then there's the vocals that have to be tracked. That was done at a separate time in Nashville on another time that I was there. And I tracked all the lead vocals and all the backing vocals in a session. And then I had a guy in upstate New York, Sam Polizzi, who I just started working with. He did the mix of this song. And as we were working on the mix of it, we determined there were some missing pieces. And he suggested this drummer that he works with up there, who was the drummer for the Goo Goo Dolls. Actually, he's in upstate New York, up near Canada.
It's funny you should mention the Goo Goo Dolls. I don't
really tell me why.
Right there on my wall, that's me with the Goo Goo Dolls. I went to see them, but just before the pandemic. Right there.
Okay. Oh, listen to that, people. Have a look. There he is. There they are. Well, so we're connected, clearly. The world is all interconnected. Never doubt that. We are connected. Doesn't matter if they put masks on you or they put plastic barriers between us. We're connected. They can't stop that.
And it's so beautiful when these things do come together and when they are connected. I apologize. You were telling me a story. I just thought it was fantastic to say that there they are on my wall after I met them and interviewed them on the show.
That's fabulous. And it's absolutely relevant. It's completely relevant. So, yeah, an opportunity to affirm our connection.
Yeah.
And that's part of the life force that you cannot stop.
And it's a beautiful thing, and it's not talked about enough.
No, that's right. We need to remind ourselves of this. We have a lot of power because the life force runs through us, and it's not technology, it's not fake, it's the real thing. It's, some people call it the God force. I don't care what you call it, but you can't destroy it. So we decided to bring Mike Lesapanara in on the song, and so we laid a whole other drum track on, live drums, because my drummer in Nashville, who's fantastic, also Grady Saxman, had done this really cool loop. We used a drum loop, and we decided, Sam and I decided to keep that drum loop in the forefront, but that we needed live drums. So Mikey came in and played live drums throughout, and the end of the song, the version on the album's a little longer than the single that got sent out to radio, but the version that's on the album and that's on the music video as well, which drops today and is on my YouTube channel, has a long outro. And the drums we told Mikey to just go get free, just be free. And he's such a good drummer. So he just moved us out of that song. It goes on for almost a minute, I think, to the point where you almost get into a trance. And it's a really cool aspect of the song. So those are some of the layers. I haven't even talked about the bass player, who's so damn good, and my keyboard player there, who is also my music director in Nashville, David Dorn. They're just also they're just beautiful guys who really, really can read my mind. I don't know how else to say it. So then Sam did this brilliant mix of it, and we went back and forth on that about where to place the vocals, how to time the vocals. There are a lot of backing vocals in this song that I tracked layers of because my voice blends with itself really well. And then it went. We finally got it where we wanted it, and it went to the mastering engineer in Memphis, and then we had a song.
And there it is. The magic is born.
That's right.
This is the voice of Carrington MacDuffie. She is here to talk about her single, Under the Sky. The album is called Sweet Little Mysteries, and the YouTube video. We've got so little time and so much more I want to talk to you about. Let me ask about the music video. What was it like putting a video together in these trying times, as they're known?
Well, yeah, I've shot a lot of music videos in the last year and a half. I've been out on a lake. The music video for Sweet Little Mystery, the single, is also on my YouTube channel, and we shot that on a lake on a very windy day in October. That's a really cool video. We shot with a super hot boat captain. This video for Under the Sky was made from it was actually shot completely on 16mm film. It's a vintage piece.
Right.
Yeah. So this particular video I didn't shoot recently. That was shot in the past. And I decided to bring that footage to life with this video because it had never been released. And it's really cool. You don't see much of anything shot on film anymore. So it's got this really kind of grainy, organic look to it, which suits the song. It was shot, a bunch of it in the desert, and also of live footage. The aspect ratio of the video is a little different from digital video.
Yeah.
So it's set in a kind of a starry background. So I had a lot of fun working on it with my video editor, who's in LA, and we've put a lot of videos together. And this is one of them. We're really excited about it. It just dropped, and it will be live on my YouTube channel in, I think, in about an hour, actually.
Oh, I was going to click off this and immediately go watch it, but it's not up yet. I need to wait. That's so... anticipation is worth... the wait is something. You know what I'm trying to say. Anticipation, waiting.
Something. Yeah, what you said. Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much I want to ask you about. Before we wrap up, and I thank you for your time today, I want to ask a little bit about your voiceover work. Now, you've done voiceover work for what I read is over 250 audiobooks and video games.
Yes, I haven't done a lot of video games, but I'm known because for World of Warcraft being cast to do a Scottish dwarf, because I do get cast for my Scottish accent, which I dare not do here live because you're airing out of just about out of Glasgow, and I don't want to embarrass myself, but I do get cast for that accent. And I have narrated over 250 audiobooks of all kinds. So I do a lot of character and dialect work, storytelling. I've done a lot of biographies. I've read quantum mechanics. I've read theology, a wide range of subjects that it requires a very high skill set, because you can wind up doing a scene where you might have a French person and a Russian person and a small child all are in an argument or something, and you've got to boom, 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 boom to all the,
Yeah, I'm by no means a voice artist, but every so often on this show I'll do like a sketch, and sometimes I can't get somebody to do it with me, so I'll need to create a different voice to argue with myself.
Exactly.
It's such an interesting experience, because the way I do it, and I don't know if it's the professional way, I'll record one side of it and then I'll record the other, but then I'll need to remember what person one said and try to reply to it as person two, and it's tricky, isn't it?
It is very tricky, and I think it works best for those of us who maybe have too many voices in our heads.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. That's been a big advantage, let me tell you.
Sometimes I think it should quiet down in there,
It would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would.
This is the voice of Carrington MacDuffie. She is here to talk about her new single. It is called Under the Sky. The album is called Sweet Little Mysteries. Carrington, I cannot thank you enough for your time today. Where can people find you online on the social medias?
The best thing to do really is go to my website, carringtonmacduffie.com. because from there you can navigate to any of the social media platforms, of course, Facebook and Instagram. I do a lot of, I'm interested in visuals and photos, so I do a lot on Instagram. And my YouTube channel is really fun. There's just a ton of stuff on there, so many good videos, and a lot from this record. And of course, the new Under the Sky video will be up in just a moment, practically. Yep. So that, that's the best thing, is go to my website, and it'll Spotify or however you prefer to listen, iTunes, etc., is all available from there.
Carrington, it's been so great to speak to you. Next time you're in Glasgow, make sure you come and say hi to me. I would love to take you for a coffee and have a proper chat about the world.
You know it. We will meet in person. And thank you. You've been airing my music assiduously, and I so appreciate it.
My absolute pleasure.
I just need to tell you before we sign off that you independent radio stations, community stations, and so forth, you're very, very important, that you're putting stuff out on the air, especially in these times when people are really separated. And I know it's a lot, you're volunteer, most of you, and you just know that you have my appreciation. It's important what you're doing. Thank you.
That means so much to me. Thank you so much.